Hello everyone and welcome to another video review. I'm Rodney Reynolds from 3GameMan.com and today I'm looking at the Antec P100 Case. The case box is quite nice, aside from the fact that couriers seem to want to beat the heck out of these things. Look at the holes here on the front of the box. I'm hoping that the case inside is still okay. Picture of the product on the front as well as on the sides, and lots of pictures on the back, plus plenty of features and specifications about the product. Now let's open up the box and see what's inside. It's packaged very well between two pieces of quality styrofoam, and the case itself is in a plastic bag. At the front they have this protective plastic. Let me remove that. Now this is a mid-tower case. It's mainly comprised of steel, but the front panel is plastic with a brushed aluminum insert on the door. It measures in at 484 millimeters by 220 millimeters by 523 millimeters and weighs approximately 7.5 kilograms. At the top you can fit up to two optional 120 or 140 millimeter fans. Note how they have it covered. That's a great idea when you're not using fans to keep the dust out of the case. Now as for radiators, well, you've got a few options: a 120, 140, 240, or 280 millimeter radiator. At the front top, they include 4 USB ports. 2 of them are USB 3 and the other 2 are USB 2, a microphone jack and headphone jack, as well as the power buttons. On the left is the reset button and on the right is the power button. These are quality buttons, and note how they are flush, keeping everything beautifully flat on the front of the case. Note that they have a status LED here. Now, as I already mentioned, they have this brushed aluminum insert at the front. That gives it a wonderful look. Their Antec logo at the bottom. The door swings this way, but it kind of breaks free on the left-hand side, and you can put it all the way back, so it gets the door really out of the way. With the door opened, it reveals two 5¼ drive bays and a very large removable dust filter. To take it off, just push down on these two tabs, clean it, and put it back on. Very, very convenient. Note that they do include one 120 millimeter intake fan, but you can install another one as well. They do include a little switch here. This is for controlling the speed of this fan. They've got a high and medium setting on that. There's ventilation holes on the right, left, and bottom of the front panel, and of course that's to allow the front fan or fans to intake cool air. Now both the left and right side panels are plain, and that's due in part to keep the case quiet because each of these side panels has acoustic dampening material. At the back they include a 120 millimeter exhaust fan. Here's where the motherboard's I/O shield plate gets installed, extra ventilation, as well as 2 rubber grommeted holes to route cables and or water cooling tubes through. They include 7 ventilated expansion slots, and a standard ATX power supply can be installed at the bottom. They also have a removable dust filter for that power supply's intake fan. Very handy. You can take it and very quickly clean it and put it back right in. Also 4 thumb screws too on each side panel. So here's that acoustic dampening material, which is on each side panel, but also at the top of the case. Inside the case there's a bag, and in it are a number of plastic cable ties, screws, an overview. By the way, if you want the complete manual, go to antec.com/manuals to get that, as well as a warranty card. And by the way, there is a 3-year warranty on this case. This case fits mini ITX, micro ATX, and standard ATX form factor motherboards. On the motherboard tray is a massive hole. This is for removing the cooler's retention plate, plus plenty of rubber grommeted holes to route the cables behind the motherboard tray, as well. Lots of punch outs there to organize them, and there's plenty of space behind the motherboard tray and the right side panel, despite the fact that there's acoustic dampening material on the right side panel. The top 2 5¼ drive bays have a toolless design. You can install lots of drives in this case, up to 7 2.5" or 7 3.5" drives. Each one of these plastic drive trays just come out like so by pinching on the front. Note the silicone grommets that they have here for installing the 3.5-inch drive. So use the included screws to either install a 2.5-inch drive or a 3.5-inch drive, and then just go ahead and snap it into place. Note though that this drive cage is not removable. It is in one piece and riveted down. Now have a look at the covers at the top. This of course is where you would install either a 120 or 140 millimeter fan. You can fit two of either of these. Of course, the other option up here is a radiator, but if you don't install anything, then you've got the acoustic dampening material on these covers. Now, like the 120 millimeter fan at the front, this one also has a fan speed control where you can adjust the speed of the fan from a low to a high setting. They also include a 3-pin to 4-pin adapter if you want to connect it into the power supply's 4-pin Molex lead. Now, this is a little odd. Normally, you'll find at least thumb screws on the expansion slots, but they're using standard screws. At the bottom of the case are 4 rubber rests for the power supply to lodge on. The video card length and power supply length is the same at 12.5 inches or 317.5 millimeters, and the cooler height is 6.7 inches or 170 millimeters. With the right side panel removed, have a look at the acoustic dampening material. It's the same as on the left side panel, as well behind the motherboard tray. At the bottom, they include 4 soft rubber feet, but they are not very tall. These are perfect if you're putting it on a hard surface, but if you're thinking about putting the case on a soft surface like carpet, well, not being tall could be a problem because the case will sink down into that soft surface, and possibly the bottom fan for the power supply might be hindered and not be able to intake cool air like it really should. Finally, have a listen to the stock cooling, first on the high setting. And now on the low setting. This is a very nice case overall. The styling is quite pleasant. The front door preserves the look on the front of the case. This door is quite good as well, as it breaks away on the left side so it can swing all the way back and kind of get out of your way. Also on the inside of this door is acoustic dampening material, and by the way, this door is held into place by magnets. Also plenty of dust filters, lots of drive options, USB 3 ports. I love those flush power and reset buttons at the top, as well dust filters, water cooling options. So the case does have a lot to offer, and it's not going to break the bank. But there's nothing that really separates this case from many other mid-tower cases on the market. Sure, it has all those features that I mentioned, plus acoustic dampening material, so it would be a really good case if you're thinking about a quiet build, but you can get others like it. However, the styling is quite unique. That said though, it is a great product. Until next time, take care.